was never pushed down the uni route by my parents, thank God. Because if I never went, it would just be for the sake of going. Because at that period, I didn't even know what I liked doing, let alone what I wanted to be for the rest of my life. And to get in that amount of debt as well scared me, especially not knowing what I wanted to do. Left college with nothing, basically. So I left college with absolutely nothing, didn't know what I wanted to do. The only time I'd get joy and the only time I'd enjoy myself was when I was out and about with my friends. Which happens to a lot of people. It happens to a lot of people I know.
In 1837, Horace Mann created the education system, a system at the time designed to pump out factory workers and professors. The same system that is still being used today in the 21st century. Now, Mann's system is backfiring. We are being moulded by the same industrial system that has existed for close to 200 years. That system delivers us into a digital economy that has no need of our outdated skills. This isn't our teachers' fault. This isn't the government's fault. This is due to a rapidly changing world full of technology and unforeseen circumstances. And us Gen Zs are caught in the middle. Welcome to the Driven Young podcast, the podcast for stressed, overwhelmed young Australians, teaching you practical life skills you can implement now to set yourself up in life. And now your host, Byron Dempsey.
Welcome back to the Driven Young podcast. Today is another amazing episode with a good mate of mine, Ryan Herrington, aka ThatDietGeezer. ThatDietGeezer is an online coach on a mission to empower people to break their limiting beliefs and realize they can achieve whatever they want in this life. As you will hear in this episode, he came about this after losing 23 kilograms in less than 18 months, not through some fancy fad diet, but through mindset, self-education, and a coach. I really love the opening to this. When Ryan shares his story, you can hear him get very, very emotional. He retells his story of giving up his dream to become a pro footballer, to partying, doing drugs and drinking 4 nights a week for 6 years straight. It is a really awesome story, and I think it is so relatable because so many people out there fall into this trap, and I hope you all take away some valuable information. In this episode, we get into Ryan's story, how he got sucked into the party lifestyle for so long, and how his life became muddled. We talk about the importance of traveling, why mentors are so important, personal development, poverty, the 530 Club, which is how we met, how he lost so much weight in such a short amount of time, how one book completely changed his life, and so much more. As per usual, guys, if you enjoy this episode, please reach out and let Ryan know. He would love to receive your messages. The same goes with me. Shoot me through a DM. I would love to have a chat. Just a reminder, I've set up a Buy Me a Coffee link in the bottom of the description if you wanted to help support this show. And if you haven't already, make sure you leave a rating or a review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes 1 minute and it will really, really help me out. Now, over to Ryan. Ryan, welcome so much to the podcast.
Thank you very much, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, we've been trying to get you on for a few weeks now, but really excited.
Yes, mate. Finally here. Finally here. I'm ready to go, mate.
Yeah, awesome. So before we get into the meat of the conversation, love to know a little bit about yourself. You know, what you did after high school. You know, your kind of journey from, you were just talking about, I guess, 16 to like where you are now, and, you know, what's happened through there and what are you currently up to? Yeah,
no problem at all. So, as I explained earlier, I was playing a high level of sport for my whole childhood was sport. Ended up playing for Brighton Hove Albion Football Club for about 3 years, playing for Sussex, playing for my county cricket team as well. So very, very busy as a teenager. That dream got taken away from me at 16, as it does for a lot of lads, a lot of people of similar ages. So your dream's taken away from you, and that was shattered my self-belief, shattered my confidence now looking back. And that was just at a time as people start getting into the party scene, pretty much. So I went from very good at playing football to very good at partying, very good at drinking, very good at going out, very good at taking drugs. And then for the next sort of 6-7 years, that's all it was really. Didn't really have many passions, didn't really know what I wanted to do. I went to college and I chose sport, biology and chemistry. Sat in my chemistry class like, I do not belong here. Ended up doing psychology and ICT. And then just didn't care because I was going out 3-4 times a week, socialising, drinking, partying with my friends, and was never pushed down the uni route by my parents, thank God. because if I ever went, it would just be for the sake of going. Because at that period, I didn't even know what I liked doing, let alone what I wanted to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And to get in that amount of debt as well scared me, especially not knowing what I wanted to do. Left college with nothing, basically. I had one exam in the second year and I went to the casino the night before. Give my mates a lift there, ended up going in, spending the money off the lift.
As you do.
As you do. And then sat my exam and failed it. So I left college with absolutely nothing, didn't know what I wanted to do. And the only time I'd get joy and the only time I'd enjoy myself was when I was out and about with my friends. Which happens to a lot of people. It happens to a lot of people I know. I was at a point where I had the opportunity to go travelling, very much out of the blue, hadn't planned on it, always something in the back of my head that I wanted to do. And I actually remember a conversation with my cousin, actually. He was 30 at the time with 2 kids, and he said, Ryan, the one thing I wish I'd done is go travelling. Because I'm 30 years old with 2 kids now, and I can't go. And I know that my personality is, if I didn't go, I'd regret it.
Yeah.
So I had the opportunity to go to Thailand, Southeast Asia with my brother, and then through to Australia. And I quit my job 6 weeks later, left. And absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it. I travelled around Southeast Asia, again, drinking and partying, not really doing as much culture, but it just gave me that insight into the rest of the world. I was out the bubble.
Yeah. The London, I guess
Brighton
England
bubble,
London.
yeah. Very close to London, very similar. A lot of places in England, they're all very, very similar places, very similar mindset.
Yeah. It's the same as Australia though. Like there's very little, we're very diverse, but very little culture here because we're only 200 years old or so.
Yeah.
There's no, big old buildings and everything. Everything's just here, and especially we're in such a bubble because everything's 10,000 kilometers away. Yeah. So I know exactly what you mean. Like if you don't get to explore that, I think you can be very stuck.
You can be, and I think that you are bound. People are victim to their surroundings. I think people where you grow up, the people around you, and the family, the friends you have, a very similar worldview, and that's no fault of anyone's. It's just because you are your tribe, and your parents will live in a certain place for a certain reason, as did their parents, with their community and their friends, who they're friends with, and you tend to have a very similar mind view of a worldview as your tribe. So having that experience at a young age and going away and seeing the world for what it is, and in speaking to people from different cultures and different walks of life, massively opened my eyes. At the age of 19, it's quite young to go away. I spent 3 months in Thailand, 3 months in Asia. You see the poverty there as well.
Oh yeah, it's insane, isn't it?
Absolutely insane. It's heartbreaking at times.
Good perspective for us.
Brilliant. Where I live, you don't see it. Very little crime, very little poverty. Everyone's comfortable. But then you've got your own problems at home, haven't you? But then you see the problems that they have, and it doesn't compare.
And you go, wow, what am I complaining about?
Exactly that. Got the opportunity to come to Australia. Spent a year doing my farm work, so I've done banana farming up in Innisfail, which is an experience.
Backpacking.
Travelled the East Coast, lived in Melbourne, and I came back a different person. To my friends, I was the same person, still the same lot, still the same attitude at the pub, still going out drinking and partying with my friends, but something inside of me was different, and it was that the world's a much bigger place than what I thought it was. And I left Australia with the intention of coming back because I knew I wanted to spend more time here. At the time, being British, we do have the problem of visas, and you have to have a skill.
Yeah, a skill that is
a skilled visa
in need. Yeah.
Which I understand doesn't make it easy for us, but I went home, was a real estate agent for 2 years, ready to come back and work in recruitment, and that's what I've done. But obviously experiencing living on the other side of the world at a young age and realising how big the world was, when I was at home, I had itchy feet. I was like, there's more to life than just getting a job, going to work, going home, going out the weekends and doing it all over again. Yeah. You go out with your weekends and you wake up on Monday feeling terrible. Tuesday you're still feeling rough. Wednesday you're feeling slightly better. Thursday you feel nearly there. Come Friday again, do it all over again. And that lifestyle just scared the hell out of me because I was constantly thinking, what more? I felt trapped. So then I jumped on a plane and came back.
And here you are.
And here I am, yeah.
And so you said you're going out like 3 or 4 times a week at one point. Mm-hmm. That's going out like, what, big nights?
Yeah. So in college, it was Tuesday nights because they're cheap drinks. And it's Tuesday night. Then every Thursday we'll be out because everyone else is out on Thursday. And then it's Friday and then it's Saturday. And you do it all over again.
Far out. How do you maintain that?
I don't know. Scraping the barrel, mate. Scraping the barrel. Doing everything. Every single penny I earn.
I was about to say, the money alone.
Yeah. Every single penny I earn was to go out with.
You're drinking and doing drugs every night?
I wouldn't say doing drugs every night, but drinking every night, yeah.
Heavy drinking every night,
yeah.
Which is expensive.
Yeah.
Like, it's
an expensive lifestyle partying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but do you know what? It's one of those things. So what happened was, I got to a point where it all caught up with me. So I got on the scales at just after Christmas in 2019. New Year, January 2019. So we're in 2020 now. So it started last year. After about 9 months of boozing, pretty much nearly near enough every day, because I lived in Darwin. So I don't know if the listeners know much about Darwin as a backpacker, but the only thing there to do is drink. So you're drinking 4 or 5 times a week.
Far out.
And that was just a lifestyle. I was working as a travel agent, a backpacker travel agent. So I was hosting boozy bingo on a Thursday night at a hostel, getting paid in alcohol. And don't get me wrong, I had a good time, but I neglected my health.
Yeah.
Something's got to give. You can't push yourself. You can't do these things to the level that you do. I was doing them out, and a lot of people do them out, and it not have detrimental effects to your health, physical and mental.
I don't know if you saw, but today, the day we're filming this, Diego Maradona just passed away.
Yes.
We know he had quite a party-heavy lifestyle.
Yes, I did see that.
He's only 60 years old. 60. Not very old.
No, not at all.
Very young for someone to die. Heart attack as well.
Was it?
Yeah.
It just goes to show, doesn't it? It catches up with everyone.
Yeah.
It catches up with everyone. If you neglect your health long enough, it's going to catch up with you. Luckily, I was at the point where I was 24 years old. I was just starting a new job, which is a good opportunity for me. In my head, it was a good opportunity for me to completely change my routine. Reset.
Yeah.
Invested in a coach who was a friend of mine from home, who had always been in the gym. I tried fad diet after fad diet. I tried the every single diet the media brought out: low carb, intermittent fasting, keto, all these things that everyone knows and everyone thinks that the best way to go about it, because that's what the mainstream media tell us to do. And then invested in a coach. He educated me around flexible dieting, which is a method that I've used now and what I coach my clients on, a way of educating yourself around nutrition, educating yourself on food, so you can do what you want. So you can eat the food you like, live the lifestyle you want, because you understand it. Because you understand it, it is a science with calories and energy balance. And the more you know, the more you can build it into your lifestyle and the lifestyle you want to live. And do the best of both worlds pretty much. And that's where my journey started. Fast forward 18 months, So when I changed my diet, I started. It's a basic human need, isn't it? Eating.
Yeah.
When I started doing that properly, I started feeling better about myself physically, which gave me more energy to train at the gym. Because I had more energy and I had a different mindset, thinking I'm going to make it work regardless of how long it takes. I'm not going to adopt the quick fix. I had the wobbles. I speak to my coach. He's like, Ryan, trust the process. And started getting momentum in my fitness goals, which trying to flip to switch inside me, because where I'd lost all my self-belief and confidence in myself, I'd feel that anxious going out, and I'd feel every time I'd be out, I'd feel like I'm overweight, so I'd just get pissed and forget about it.
Yeah. Drink your problems away.
And then feel like, actually, do you know what? I can do this. I didn't go to college, so I didn't think I was academic. Well, because I failed at college, I felt like I wasn't academic. It was a limiting belief I had about myself.
I was going to say, you're the limiting belief, yeah.
Massively. I'd always look at pictures like, I wish I could do that. I wish I could lose that weight. I wish I could have a transformation picture. And those limiting beliefs about my body rippled out into every single aspect of my life, which subconsciously, now I'm more conscious of them and aware of them. But at the time, because I couldn't get on top of my body, I couldn't get on top of anything.
And this is the thing, right? People, I think we've been conditioned to think, let's lose weight to look good for other people or to feel confident in ourselves. But really, eating healthy and losing weight is so much more than just looks. You know, as you mentioned, if you can get a good diet and eat healthy, you're going to have more energy, which means you can go gym, which means you can lose weight, which means you're more confident to go out, which means that confidence radiates when you're in meetings and in work, and everything just ripples apart. And it can just start from having better health habits.
Exactly that. I think where I got momentum in my body, it was kind of like a flip to switch. Okay, what else can I do? And then I picked up a book. It was called So Good They Can't Ignore You, and it was all about how to find your dream job. Why skills trump passion. And I read it, and it changed my life because I could read it. I was like, I actually understand this. And then I read Growth, and then I read Mindset by Carol Dweck, and understand the difference between a fixed and growth mindset. And that's when I was like, do you know what? I can do anything I want. I might not be as good as this guy, and he's a lot further than me, but all I've got to do is start. And I'm not going to be very good I'm not going to be good when I start, but if I turn up every day, I'll get better, and I'll get better, and I'll get better. And that's why fitness and diet principles have the same effect in life principles. Small daily habits, small incremental steps, compound over time.
That's how they say. How do you achieve a goal? Small steps compounded over time.
And that's what it is. And diet, fitness goals, repetition. It's exactly the same. And then obviously once I got into that, reading and thinking, do you know what? I didn't think I was academic, but I'm actually enjoying this. I've read about 25 books in the last sort of 2 years. Or 18 months. I've listened to 40 now on Audible, and I'm addicted to growth. Now I've seen the progress, changed my diet, changed my life. The ripple effect of that has affected every single aspect of my life.
Yeah.
And now my core value is growth now. Because I've come so far, it's a challenge. Like, right, well, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? And that's why I do what I do now, because I've been in a place where I was overweight, I was unhappy, I had a fixed mindset, and I was unfulfilled because I didn't know what I wanted to do because I was half pissed, I was half drunk all the time, and I never actually felt good.
That's the thing, you're going to feel sluggish. You're going out every week. Not only the money involved in going out 3 or 4 times a week, the time involved, like you're not going to have any time to do anything else besides just work. Yeah. Like you're not going to have time to go out or work on a project or anything on the side. And I think if I've got listeners who are 15, 16, 17, 18 and they haven't started to experience this, as soon as you turn 18 in Australia, obviously people are kind of drinking from 16 onwards, depending on where you are. But once you hit 18, it starts to go downhill. That's when you can start drinking. Your metabolism's going to start slowing down. Everyone stops playing sport.
Yep.
You stop playing sport. You start drinking. If you've moved out, you're now probably eating like crap because you're not getting home cooked meals. It's just a shitstorm of everything hitting you at once. And it's a trap. You've got to be really careful that you don't get caught in this trap. As you say, you do.
And I was under the impression, which most people do, you leave college, you leave school thinking you know everything.
No, not at all.
And where I've studied a lot of sort of entrepreneurship books, business books, self-development books, every single person that I want to be is self-taught. It's the people who think, I don't need anyone to tell me what to do. I'm going to find it out for myself.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for the resources. I'm going to read the books, read the studies, find coaches. It's what Tony Robbins says, isn't it? Success leaves clues. Figure out who you want to be, figure out who's already done it, and copy them.
Yeah. That's my problem with learning business in university. You're learning from professors who have never left the education sector. Why would you want to learn about how to run a business from someone who's never run a business?
Yeah.
Obviously, like Harvard and those top schools are a bit different because they can bring in like top business leaders, but the everyday university doesn't do that. And same with like mechanic teachers. I've used this example before. My mechanical teacher, he worked for 20 or 30 years before he became a teacher. He's great. But he's saying the teachers that are coming after him are book mechanics. They've gone from high school, now they've studied mechanical engineering and stuff, now they're going to teach it. And it's like, when we were doing this, everything went wrong.
Yeah.
When you're working on old cars, old bikes, everything goes wrong. You need to have experience to be able to get to that. I mean, we'll see how it goes, but I think it's so much valuable. You want to learn from people who have done it or are where you want to be.
Yeah. And I think that's why, like with myself as a coach now, I can resonate with my clients because I've been there.
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to be unhappy and think like you can't achieve much. You haven't got the self-belief to achieve. When what I firmly believe to my core is that every single person has so much untapped potential. They just need to figure out what they want to do, and then once they, because like what I had a thought the other day, it was like you get told things at school. You don't want to learn it, you get told it.
Yeah, you memorize it.
Yeah, memorize it. And things your parents tell you, you get told. You don't ask them for advice. Well, sometimes you do, but often they tell you. They just tell you things. You need to do this, you need to do that. And then as you grow older and you start exploring your passions and you start doing the things that you want to do because you actually want to do them. Not because you're getting told to, not because someone's forcing you to do it, because you're actually interested in it. And that's when you can, your abilities will skyrocket because you can invest everything into that. Your attention isn't elsewhere because you know you want to do it.
Isn't it crazy that we often don't experience that until we're like early 20s? Like our entire childhood, we won't experience that. We're just conditioned to think, oh, we've just got to do it because we have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I've never done anything I've actually genuinely loved. My first experience of that was when I was 11 and we told we had to make a movie out of our favourite book. And me and my friends, we filmed a little fight scene from our favourite book. That was the first time I started on iMovie. I was editing it. I was having the best time of my life. I remember how addicted I was to editing. I watched it over and over and over again. And I was like, that's kind of, this is what actually working towards something you enjoy is. I'd never really experienced that. Everything else was a chore. Yeah. Spelling, homework, math. I hated all of that. I just had to do it because I had to do it for some reason.
Exactly
and
that.
You do what you're told.
And that's the thing as well. You are naturally, it's like your skills as well, isn't it? Like with the schools at the moment, the school systems, you're taught how to fit in. You're taught how to fit in because if you got told that you can do whatever you wanted to do, you just need to put in the hard work, figure it out and do it, it'd be chaos. People wouldn't do what they meant. People wouldn't do as they're told because I don't need to do that. You're telling me to do something that I don't need to do and I don't want to do it, so why would I do it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. And that's a big problem. I mean, school, there's that image of like a machine, and they put all these bright rainbow colored kids, creativity, going to the machine, and they come out black and white.
Yeah.
And they're in suits and stuff.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's probably a bit ancient, but it's still kind of relevant today.
100%. And I think it's a funny thing that when you hear something and you consciously you're aware of it, and then it keeps popping up.
RAS, we call it. Reticular activating system in your brain.
Okay.
So it's actually a part of your brain. It's the example is if you get some new shoes and you start seeing everyone wearing the same shoes, you get a new car or you get this type of branding car. My dad and I, we both had Saabs, which are a very unique car. Yeah. They're bankrupt now, so they're not very rare, but we see them everywhere. Yeah. I'll be driving my family, my dad will be like, bang, oh, there's one.
Yeah, got a car.
So your reticular activating system. Yeah. And that's why if you can actually train your reticular activating system like you are now to look for positivity and like-minded people and look for those. That's a growth mindset. Yeah, is by training that RAS in your brain. And
that's interesting.
Yeah, so that's science.
Right? Yeah, it's so true as well. I think what keeps popping up for me recently is that as a kid growing up, you had naturally, when you're in play mode as a kid, before these social norms are forced upon you, this is how you should behave. You do what you want to do.
Yeah.
And it keeps popping up like, okay, as a young age, I was playing sport, I was into running around. As I grew up, I was interested in PE, biology, and psychology. Then I started drinking, and I just didn't care about it. But now, as I've got over that phase of drinking all the time, I still drink. Do you know what I mean? I still enjoy myself.
You still have social drinks. And
my passions now align with all of those. Where I went through this blurred phase. So obviously, I'm an online coach, so I love my fitness. I'm a certified nutrition coach, and the biology interests me, and I read all the personal development, and they're all psychology books.
And that's what you teach to your clients.
Yeah,
like
but that's what I grew up loving.
Yeah.
But then, the period of drinking so much just blurred and just numbed it all out for me.
Which is what alcohol does. It numbs the pain. It numbs everything. And as you mentioned, like, we're not saying don't go out and drink. We're saying don't go out and drink 4 times a week and lose your whole life and put your whole identity in it.
Exactly that. And like, that's what I want to do and what I want to achieve. I want to make sure people have their... what it is, it's... You need to make your mind up. You need to make your own decision on your values and beliefs. What do you want?
Because everyone has different values and beliefs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone has different values and beliefs and wants different things. And everyone's lives are different, opportunities are different. And it's a base of understanding, okay, what do you actually want? What do you want from life? What do you want to achieve? Because a lot of people don't even sit down and think about it. I was having a chat with my mum yesterday. She was like, I never once sat down and asked myself, what do you actually want to do? It was always a case of tick the box that we spoke about earlier. Leave school, go to college, study at college to go to uni, finish uni, get a job to cover the bills, get a house because everyone else is doing it, have kids.
Get a new car.
Exactly that. Not once do they actually sit down and think, what do I actually want?
Then you have another kid, then you upgrade your house. Then you have another kid, then you upgrade your car.
And the regression to mean, isn't it?
Yeah.
3 months down, you buy a new car, 3 months down the line, you're used to it again and you want a new one.
Yeah.
And so many, it's my worst nightmare, that.
I've spoken about this exact thing quite a few times.
Yeah.
I put out content on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah.
People, Gen Z, millennials, we're terrified of that.
Yeah.
And fair enough, I don't want to do that. I love the idea of every day I get up at 5 o'clock and I go to this and then I go into the office and I go gym. I love that routine, but I don't like being able to know where I'll be in 20 years.
Yeah.
I love not knowing where I'm going to be in 6 months or a year. Every 12 months for me is so different.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah.
There's beauty in uncertainty, right?
Exactly. I've always been someone that likes change and used to be in an office environment and people sat next to me like, oh, I hate change. I'm like, it's exciting.
Yeah, I love it.
But I thought that was common, but then I sit around with people and they hate it.
It's other generations. Like, they're getting an update on their iPhone. I'm having play. Yeah, let's see what there is. They're going, oh, how do I open my camera? It's like, people just hate change. And that's it. I think it's just the way, the older generations are conditioned, and we've been conditioned the opposite way.
Yeah.
We've been conditioned to want change, and we've seen, I think it was never cheaper until COVID. We'll see how that affects it.
Yeah.
And so my grandma was saying, like, her and my granddad in 1995 went traveling for 6 months, cost them 50 grand. You could do that for 5 or 10 now.
Yeah.
Because it's Airbnbs, you can
make ways of doing it. Yeah.
Make friends around the world, backpacking.
It's a small world, isn't it? It's a connected world. I think that's a good thing to come out of COVID. The world realises how small the world actually is. With Zoom, like, everyone was so obviously being from the UK, people on Zoom chats, their family and friends, spoke to their family and friends more than ever.
Isn't it interesting?
And it was like, you could have always done that.
Yeah.
Zoom was there before.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it took a pandemic for us to realise that. And it's the best thing that's ever happened to me, because I was a recruiter. In my head, I was a recruiter. And I read a book called 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
A classic, yeah.
And it got to the mission statement part. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, I'm reading, which is enough for me. I'm not going to do the exercises. I was like, do you know what? Screw it. I'll do it. And it asks you questions such as, like, what do you want people to say about you at your funeral?
Oh, the eulogy?
Deep questions. Yeah. And obviously you write your mission statement down. And one thing that I wrote down, and I was like, that's exactly what I want. And it was it was a flexibility to work anywhere in the world through helping people. Because fulfillment comes through service. Same as what Tony Robbins says.
Human needs.
Yeah.
Contribution.
Give.
Yeah. 1 of 6 human needs.
Exactly that. So I was thinking, if I can do that, I'll be happy. And then I went through a period with COVID. With my visa status, it's a bit complicated. I was in a period where I couldn't leave my job because my visa wouldn't allow it.
Yeah.
And I couldn't leave the country because I wouldn't be able to get back in because of my visa. So I was at a point where I had no freedom, and it's one of those things, you don't value something until it's gone.
Right. Yeah.
I couldn't do anything. I was trapped, and I hated it. And then the opportunity to start coaching and start ThatDietGeezer, which I'm doing with my friends. The second the thought popped into my head, my mind was racing because of that. It gave me the opportunity to have everything I wanted. The freedom to work anywhere in the world through serving people. And serving people where I had been personally.
Yeah. So you know what they're going through.
Yeah. And And that's the thing about self-education. Like, if I didn't read that book, I would never be there. I'd still be in recruitment. I wouldn't mind it. I didn't mind it.
This is what we call the enemy of a great life is a good life. And you had a good life. You're living a 6 out of 10 life.
Yeah.
But so you're comfortable enough to not leave, but you're not hurting enough to leave either. It's not a 2 out of 10. It's a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. And so many people in Australia or England or America, these developed countries, live a 7 out of 10 life. And it's just, by living that, they don't stretch themselves to live a great life.
Yeah. Because
in order to achieve a great life, you've got to work hard. And you've got to put in the work. I think I saw a quote. It was like, you either take an easy route and live a hard life, or take a hard route and live an easy life, or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true.
It is true.
Take an easy life now, which is, not working hard or doing the minimum, getting your paycheck and stuff. And it's probably going to bite you in the ass when you're 50, 60, 70.
Yeah. It's the same old story for a lot of people, isn't it? You get yourself a decent job. You go there, you come home, you chill out in front of the TV, you wait for the weekends, and you blow off steam at the weekends.
And then you repeat.
And rinse and repeat. And then, like you said, 30, 40 years later, you think, is this it? Is this it? And it's not for a lot of people, that is all it's going to be.
For most people, that's all it's going to be. And look, if you love the idea of that stability, my only advice would just be make sure you're smart with your money. Like, just save and be smart. Don't, if you're going to live that lifestyle.
Don't go drinking 4 times a
week.
Yeah.
If you're going to live that lifestyle, be smart with your money. And, but we're talking about this on the last episode, the freelance model. People are leaning towards exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Where they can freelance, they've got a bit more time, they're able to have a bit more freedom, which is what this generation wants.
Yeah.
We don't want to be stuck in an office for 9 to 5. And as you mentioned again, what are the Parkinson's law, right?
Yeah.
Parkinson's law states that any amount of time, we will find time to fill it.
Yeah.
So we've got a week to do something, we'll find, way to do that in exactly a week. If you give someone else 2 days to do it, they'll probably do it within 2 days.
Exactly that. It's last minute, handing in your exams at last minute.
Exactly. And so work gives us a 40-hour work week, which means we're going to take 40 hours to do it. And as Tim Ferriss said in the 4-hour work week, which, by the way, was written in 2005, 15 years ago.
Really? 15 years now.
15 years ago. He's ahead of his time, right?
Yeah, completely.
Like, he points out, like, meetings are a waste of time. You could get a 40-hour work week. Most people could probably do it in 20.
Yeah.
If we're being real.
Yeah.
If you use your time wisely, you could do it in 20.
Well, I was sat in my office in recruitment, and I'd just be there for the sake of being there.
Yeah.
It's like, especially with people working from home now, the whole working from home movement, I think it's going to be brilliant for people's work-life balance.
I agree.
A lot of my friends in office roles and corporate world would rather take the pay cut, work 4 days a week and have a better work-life balance.
Yeah.
And then earn their money on commission, which I think is a brilliant idea. Because you're there just for the sake of being there. You're scrolling through social media.
Yeah.
You're chatting to colleagues. You're just going through the motions because you're not passionate about it. Yeah. And then when you are passionate about something, you're constantly in a state of flow. Time doesn't exist when you're doing something you're passionate about. Time absolutely flies, and it doesn't feel like work.
You know what you would have had, and this is what I feel like a lot of people would have had. A lot of people, when starting the business, like you, I think, will have a job and then do it on the side, and they'll be like, they hate that we've got to go do the job, but when they're doing their side stuff, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, it's like me with a podcast. When I'm working on podcast stuff, I'm like, yeah. And then I go to do my marketing stuff, my clients. I'm like, all right, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
But, it's not as enjoyable as working on that stuff, which is, giving me growth.
Yeah. And that goes back to the 5:30 Club that we're both involved in.
Yeah.
Which is a brilliant initiative.
So good.
I cannot tell you the amount of momentum that I made from surrounding myself with like-minded people.
Neither.
And I would go to 5:30. I'd bounce off everyone there. I'd love the conversation with everyone there. The energy would be amazing. It'd get to 7 o'clock and I'd be gutted because I have to go to work.
Yeah.
But I've got to go to my real job. And I'd sit there and my mind would be at a million different things apart from my actual job. And I sat there, I don't want to be here anymore.
And also, like, as someone who's employing, you don't want to employ someone like that.
No. And they never said it to me, but they could see it in me. They could see it in my behaviour, my attitude. And it was just a massive, massive shift because I knew it's kind of like when you figure it out, there's no ifs or buts. There's no ifs or buts of what you should be doing because I had complete alignment. From the minute I spoke to my friend about that geezer and what we wanted to achieve with that geezer to promote better mental, physical health for people that have been in our situation before. It was complete alignment, and I wasn't a spiritual person, but I had this weird sensation that my stars were aligning. Like, this is really such a strange feeling because
you hadn't experienced it before.
Everything that I've been doing now makes sense to me. Because like that book I was telling you about, The So Good They Can't Ignore You, is exactly that. So rather than telling someone, find your passion, find your dream job. It's like, great, you've told me at 18, I think, I don't have a clue what I'm doing.
Yeah,
it doesn't help me that.
It's vague.
Doesn't help me that because I don't have a clue what I like. And it flips on its head and says, okay, let's reverse engineer it. Let's look at these people across all different facets of work, the people that love their job, and figure out how they love their job. How did they get to a place where they love their job? And it was a case of find a job that you don't mind doing, that's going to give you enough money to live the lifestyle you want. And while you're there, get good at it, because you're going to be there 8 hours a day anyway. So you might as well work hard while you're there.
That's true. If you're going to be there, work hard. Because you never know. If you work hard, when you quit your job, they might give you a good reference. They might introduce you to someone. Like I say that at school. Like even I didn't enjoy school, the workload, but still you're going to be there 6 hours a day. Put in the work. You might as well.
Exactly that. And it's a case of if you get good at a job, you can demand more autonomy from that job.
Yes.
Which will benefit you down the line. Having autonomy across your work schedule and working at the cutting edge. Well, if you're pushing a field in a particular direction, you generally get fulfillment from that because you are leading an industry leader, an expert within your field. But while you're doing that, explore, go traveling, try different things, just explore. Do all these things that you think, I might like it. Again, it's a fixed growth mindset. You're never going to be good at something when you first start it. But if you do something, actually, I quite like that, get better at it, upskill in it, learn about it. And then rather than having the mentality of, okay, this is going to be my career, just do it because you love doing it.
This is what got the audience of none. What would you do to an audience of none? Of no people? If you were to do something for a year and no one watched you or listened, what would you do?
Exactly that. And it's like they say about your passions, what do you talk about? What are the things when you feel most fulfilled and inspired, and what do you find yourself talking about? And it's the things you love doing. And then once you've found that, and you build up these small wins, incremental steps, repetition again, you will slowly start to be able to learn how to commercialize it. And then once you figure that out, then the hard work starts. You've got your job, you've got your income, you need to work hard as you can, you need to work harder than anyone else in the room to build your side project, your side hustle, to the point where you're at a point where you can make a shift, and you know that if you can give the time that you're in your normal job to your side hustle, it would skyrocket. And that's the way that these people do it.
Yeah.
You just have to work hard.
Yeah. And a way to help that is what I'm doing right now is I'm living a very cheap lifestyle, which means I don't need a full-time job to survive because I don't make any money from this podcast.
Yeah.
I need to in 2021 if I want to survive.
Yeah.
But I've got some money coming from a few clients here and there, but it's not much. But because I'm not spending much, that means I can, make that sacrifice. I don't have to be working 4 or 5 days a week to pay massive amount of rent and everything else that comes with that.
Exactly that. And it was one of those things that was the first book I read, and it had such a profound impact on me because I was just like, the more books I read, I was like, I'm not reading it because I'm thinking it's going to give me my dream job. I'm thinking it because I want to read it. And then I've done my nutrition course, not thinking I'd ever become a nutrition coach. I was sat in my office like, I've made lots of progress here in mentally. You can't measure it. There's no metric to measure your personal growth,
mental
your mindset.
Competence.
There's no metric. I knew I was progressing.
Yeah.
I knew what I was talking about because I was losing weight.
How much weight did you lose?
3.5 stone. So 23 kilograms in 18 months.
23 kilograms.
Yeah. So, and that's just education.
How do we visualize? What's 23 kilograms? I'm trying to think.
Oh, it's hard.
It's like my dog, who's a big dog.
Yeah. It's a lot. And I completely changed my physique and my mindset. It completely changed. Everything about me, it changed.
Yeah.
And I was sat in the office. I was like, okay, everyone's talking about different things at the office. Talking about keto, Herbalife, all these fad diets. And I'd be there frustrated, but like, you don't know what you're talking about. You're just regurgitating what you read in the paper by someone that's trying to sell you a product.
Which is marketing.
Yeah. But then I was like, I've only read what I've read.
Yeah, true.
So I have no credibility. I can't sit here and argue with you because I've read something, you've read something. So I was like, do you know what? I like talking about it. I'm 24 years old. If I complete a nutrition coaching course now, I'm going to have those skills. I'm going to be healthy for the rest of my life.
And also, you can give legal advice around health.
Exactly.
Because you need to be qualified. Otherwise, it's...
But at the time, it was never about that. It was because I liked it and upskilled in it because I liked it.
Genuinely curious.
Exactly.
Which is what we say. Like, if you can find something you're genuinely curious in, that's a good direction to head. We're not saying you're going to find your purpose, but that's a good way to try find it.
Exactly that.
Something you're genuinely curious in.
Exactly. And then I've done that, and then fast forward a year, I've just left my job in recruitment to pursue a career in online coaching, which is going to give me the flexibility to work in the world and through helping people who have been in the same pain I have. And if you reverse engineer it, it's because I followed the steps of that book. From the very first book I read. And if I never picked up that book, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be doing it. I wouldn't be having this conversation with you now. I wouldn't be part of the 530. And it's all from one book.
Yeah.
And that's what we started at the start. Self-education is massive for your own personal growth and success in every facet of life.
Every single person I look up to and admire does self-develop. I feel like it can take a bit of a beating because it's a little bit cheesy.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
I totally get that. And I'm not saying read a book a week or just read a book that you enjoy. And if you really don't enjoy it, put it down and pick up another one or something.
That's it.
I mean, audiobooks, big fan of audiobooks and podcasts, obviously.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the gym while I'm driving to work and that sort of stuff. Kill two birds with one stone sort of thing.
Double bubble, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I love that. But yeah, I just think information is everywhere. Honestly, you'd be foolish not to take it. And obviously, anyone who's hearing this is not a fool because you're listening right now.
Yeah.
And you're taking that self-education. I'll give you a heads up. I've got a 14-year-old girl who messaged me saying she listens to the show. So there are kids, 13, 14. At this event I was at, I'm a part of, called Empower You.
Yeah.
There's two 12-year-old kids at this personal development event.
Yeah.
So like, people are getting in early. And these people, man, if they're getting in early, imagine if you started this when you were like 15, 14.
Yeah.
Be game changer.
It needs to be. That's where the school system's so wrong as well. Like all this stuff, this practical world advice needs to be taught.
Yeah.
Because like I said, don't get me wrong, I am who I am now because of what I've experienced.
Yeah. But you could have shortcutted that.
Yeah, absolutely. And credit to you, mate. Being 22 years old, you're well ahead of the game.
Yeah.
You're the most mature 22-year-old I've ever met.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And I get told I'm mature and I'm 25.
Yeah. No, it's interesting you say that because I can tell you an 18-year-old who's probably more mature than me. Like,
yeah.
I know a few 18-year-olds who are just like, age is just a number in that scenario. She's a maturity of like a 30-year-old.
Yeah.
You mean she's 18? I know people who are 27 who don't have her maturity.
Yeah. It's like, well, there's something I used to say. It's age is a number, maturity is a choice.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's true. I think you can decide your attitude.
I'll give you an example. Like, and I don't know if this is maturity. I'll see what you think. But like, often, say you're talking to a girl, or you're talking to a guy, and you're like, "Hey, you free this Saturday to go out?" And I'll say, "No, I can't. Sorry, I'm busy." I feel like that's what you should be saying. If you genuinely, want to go out with this person and they ask you out, you should be saying, "Sorry, I can't go out Saturday night, but I'm free next week. Did you want to go then?"
Yeah.
There's so many people I talk to, and it's not just girls, my friends as well.
Yeah.
They'll just say, "Hey, no, I'm not busy." And you're like, "Oh, what about next week?" "Oh, yeah, I should do next week." And it never happens. And it's just like a sign of respect, I think. For little, that's how my brain works. Little minor stuff like that. Stuff like showing up on time.
Yeah.
Putting in the work, being, giving as much as I'm giving, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
I think it's just stuff like that I pick up on and and it's just, I don't know why. I think a lot of what I've, said with parents nowadays, I think one of the worst things you can do to kids is coddle them.
Yeah.
And I think parents are often a little bit too soft. They'll just give them the iPad. They'll just give them the PlayStation.
Just to shut them up.
Yeah. They say the iPad's a new pacifier.
Yeah. It's true though, isn't it? I think I've got young cousins growing up, and I'd see them at family parties, and all they do is sat on their iPad playing.
Yeah, it's sad, isn't it?
It is sad. It is sad.
Yeah. For me, I was just playing outside. We play PlayStation. Me and my brother, I think we got like an hour a day.
Yeah.
You finish school at 3:00. That means you've got like 6 hours. So only one of those 6 hours was PlayStation. Everything else was homework or running outside on the skateboard, on the scooter, breaking bones, mountain biking, all that stuff. And I look back and I'm so grateful for that. And even though it meant I probably hated my parents at some point because I couldn't go on the PlayStation.
Yeah.
I look back as an adult and go, thank you for, doing that to me.
Yeah. No, massively. I completely agree with that, and it's just distractions again, isn't it? It's just we live in a world of distractions.
Yeah.
Just constantly distracted by meaningless stuff.
And parents are the initial coach, right?
Oh, 100%, massively. I think you don't realise how much they imprint their values and belief systems and worldview systems on you until you get older and you do some self work and you actually realise, hang on, the reason why I think that, the reason why I do that is because of this, and often it goes back to your parents.
Yeah, and because you've spoken about coaching quite a bit, obviously it's been very beneficial for you. You're now a coach.
Yes.
It's actually something I thought I'd like to talk about a little bit, because is that the catalyst when you met that guy? Was it the book or was it this guy you met?
It was the first time. The catalyst was me making the decision, like, I'm gonna invest in myself properly. I'm gonna weigh up my values and thinking, now I value myself and my own personal growth over the money that I spent going out.
And this is when you stepped on the scale.
Yeah, this is when I finally admitted to myself I was fat.
Yeah.
So I was in denial.
Yeah.
I was in denial. And I was like, do you know what? I don't care how much it costs. I know that the return on investment is going to be immense.
Yeah, massive.
And every time I've invested in a coach, I think I've always had mentors to some degree. In my professional life, each job I've had that I've done well in, I've always had someone who I've resonated with, sort of a line manager who's always took me under his wing. And always had that in my professional life, but not in my personal life. And people just assume that you don't need a coach in your personal life.
It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, it is very interesting. And I think the term life coach has become very like, oh, everyone's a life coach, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why people kind of like graze it off. But Hugh Jackman has a coach.
Everyone has a coach.
Conor
McGregor's coached by Tony Robbins.
He texts his coach every morning, sort of thing.
Yeah, everyone's got a coach, and I want a coach in every single facet of life now. I want a wealth coach. I want a health coach. I want a business coach. If I had enough money, I'd have a coach in everything.
Yeah,
because
do you know why coaching is important? Because they can give you a blueprint. And that's what you're going to do.
Yeah,
that's what you're doing with your clients.
Yeah.
This podcast is a blueprint. We're giving you advice so you can skip 5 years of drinking and doing drugs every night. And follow the blueprint. Start reading books. Start listening to podcasts. Start doing that sort of stuff.
And that's all it is. It's like the recipe for success isn't. It's no ifs or buts or guesses. You meet someone that's been there. They tell you how to do it. You copy them.
Yeah.
And you work hard.
Yeah.
And you make sacrifices.
And it's going to take a long time.
Yeah.
And you're
gonna screw up.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing with success, isn't it? But have failure as your friend. It's a Nelson Mandela quote. I never lose. I either win or learn.
I talk about that a lot on the podcast. It's one of my favorite quotes.
Yeah, and it's so true. It's like every time you do, it's like the growth mindset thing. If you're going to do it, you're going to screw up, but it's not until you screw up that you learn. And that's why I say to my clients, it's like, this is a long process. This isn't a 12-week shred program. This is a process to give you the skills so you don't ever have to use me again. We'll use it the first 12 weeks, and if we'll do it in the first 12 weeks, great. After that, we'll figure it out after. But you don't learn until you feel firsthand the repercussions of failure. Do it in professional life. Like when it cost you, I made a mistake when I was a real estate agent, it cost me a fortune worth of commission. I'm never going to do that again. And that's when it first clicked on me. I'm like, you can get told these things, and yes, a coach will guide you like the cat eyes in the road. They'll guide you the right direction, but you're going to screw up.
Yeah, especially if you're young.
Yeah.
Like you're 16, 17, 18, you're going to screw up a lot.
Yeah.
I screwed up a lot.
Everyone does.
Man, I've made so many mistakes.
Everyone does.
Look at this. Even on this podcast, I've made mistakes and stuff. I continue to make mistakes and stuff, but you just keep going. And the quote is so important. It's so important. You don't win or lose. You win or learn.
Yeah. And what's it? There was another one. I've read it on the way here. Actually, I think it was like the difference between success and failure is those who give up. The ones that fail and give up. And it's like, if you do fail and give up, you're never going to get where you're going to want to be.
And if you don't put yourself out there because a lot of people won't even try it because they're scared of failure.
100%. And off the back of that, putting yourself out there is one thing that the transition that I've been through is that for a long time, I didn't have anyone to talk to about what I cared about, my passion. Don't get me wrong. All my friends, I love my friends, and I engage in good conversation with them, have a laugh and so on. But a part of me was always very interested in personal development. But the circle of friends and the tribe I was in weren't interested.
I know exactly what you mean. And that's why I love 5:30 Club.
Yeah. Like,
we both love it so much. I'm actually, we're starting a 5:30 Club podcast. I don't know if you know that.
Oh, yeah.
Ori and I, but I got to bring Ori on to talk about it because anyone who listens to the show regularly has probably heard me talk about it multiple times. I've just never broken down what it actually is.
Yeah.
It's literally just you get up at 5 o'clock and you meet people at a cafe at 5:30.
Exactly
no membership fees. There's no business. It's just
good energy and good people. And it's like big man Kerwin Ray. One of his biggest quotes is, "Your network is your net worth."
Yeah, that's a huge one.
Massive.
Yeah.
And it's something that resonates with me massively. And like, it's like, even like growing up, you are the
sum of the 5 people you hang around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're a bit of an idiot, if you're five of your mates are idiots, you're an idiot. It's a good chance you're an idiot as well.
If 5 of your mates are going out drinking every night, there's a good chance you're going to go drinking every night.
Exactly that. And it's like, you can be sucked in to places that don't align with your values, don't align with you, but because of psychology and our nature and evolution, it's what we do. It's the herd mentality, isn't it? You do exactly what the herd does as well.
And the thing is, right, this building better relationships comes down to your personal life, because a lot of people are too focused on their work life. So you can actually improve your work life by improving your personal life, right?
They go hand in hand, don't they?
If you're happy, you're probably going to do a lot better work than if you're miserable. Like, and I think a big part of that is building stronger relationships with people around you.
100%. And like-minded people and people that have the same goals and aspirations as you. Entrepreneurship, obviously what we're both trying to do, can be a very lonely place at times because you're in the 1%.
Hands down, it was the hardest part about me.
Yeah.
For me, starting my business.
People don't care about it. What you love talking about and what you's going on in your head, 9 times out of 10, 9 of your mates don't care. And that's not good or bad. It just is. It just is what it is. Do you know what I mean? And it's not it's not fault of them. You have a relationship with them to a certain capacity that they're not going to be interested in that, which is okay. But that's why it's so important for you to find these communities. If you can't find it in person, there's communities online. Everything that you want, there is a community for it online. You just need to find it. And once you find it, make the most of it. Engage.
And as you say, like, you might have buddies that you just go out drinking with, and then you might have the 5:30 club people. You might have your fitness friends. You might have different facets of friends that share different interests, right?
I've got loads.
Yeah.
I've got loads. I play football. I still play football with my friend. And I was in a pub on Sunday chanting football songs. And then the following day, I'm up at 5:30 working on my business.
Yeah.
And then on the Thursday night, I was at an entrepreneurship dinner with really cool people. And it's a case of understanding, okay, where do your passions lie? Where are these tribes that you want to be part of? And just making sure you divide your time equally.
And it might cost a little bit, right? And that's where you got to invest in yourself. And I know this is a marketing tactic that people will use to try to sell you. Like, you got to invest in yourself, pay me your money. But you do. And,
you do. And
it doesn't have to be much. Like, you can find, there's cheap ways to invest in yourself. You can find groups, like 5:30 Club is completely free.
Yeah. And even like an information audit on your Instagram and social media, you can either have your social media filled with people who make you feel bad about yourself, who you're jealous of, who you wish you'd be for materialistic purposes, or you can follow people who inspire you and motivate you, because they are giving value. These pages, they're giving value. They're giving important insights into how you should be and what you should do at certain ages. Like this podcast, it's value. It's you're giving people advice of what you wish you had at your age.
Pretty much, yeah.
I'm doing the same thing. With my value, it's educating people around health, mindset, diet, what I was interested in, my pain. And you don't have to pay for any of it. You can get everything you need from even just making sure the information you receive is positive and inspiring information.
Yeah, and look, information, like, I have so much free information out there, right? And I mean, the whole purpose of, like, my business model, once again, I don't make any money from this, but I'm working on like a 6-week program for young people. Very small amount of people can join it. But the point is, you can get as much information from me as for free. You can, honestly, if you message me right now and ask for a 20-minute chat, I'll get on Zoom and have a chat with you.
Yeah.
So there's so much free stuff. And then it's just for the few people who want to go, you know what, actually, I want to pay you some money so I can accelerate the process. Yeah. And so if you don't have the money, it just means you've got to work harder. You've got to find that information yourself, which is what I did.
Sacrifice elsewhere.
Yeah. And by working harder, you're actually probably going to benefit. Yeah. Because people, I'm so glad I didn't have, I mean, I've lived in an amazing country with enough money to be, happy, but I wasn't that rich. We didn't have super nice cars. I didn't have, privileged money. My parents didn't give me money when I turned 18 and stuff. In fact, I just started paying board and everything.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I appreciate that. I really pity people who have money. I know people in uni who get like $400-500 a week from their parents.
Yeah.
And as a result, they don't work, which means when they enter the workforce, they're going to get hit like a truck.
Yes. Yeah, they are, aren't they? And that's a big thing. That is. It is mad, isn't it? It is mad when you think about it like that. I was lucky because from the age of 16, as soon as I left college, actually, my dad would always push me to work. My dad was an entrepreneur, so I've always had that. He was like, grew up, no money, from a rough part of England, and then moved to the other side of England, and was a bricklayer, and worked hard as a bricklayer, and then got a lucky break to start selling gas. When it went from like the government used to sell gas to it being private.
Yeah.
Saw an opportunity for what it was, ended up earning £550,000 in 1 year, which is more than the Prime Minister.
Wow.
And that is through graft. That's through hard work. And then obviously that then give him the platform to build a property portfolio.
Once you've got wealth, you know, if you're smart with it, you can just multiply it.
Exactly that.
The first 10,000 followers are the hardest. The first $10,000, the first 10 clients, the first whatever. It's always going to be the hardest. Yeah. You know, the graph that I've seen is people think success and working in life is, you know, you're born and you work harder and harder and you finally get and you become a millionaire or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Really, it's nothing, bang.
That's a J curve, isn't it? It's the entrepreneur J curve.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But most people give up before they hit that momentum.
Yeah.
They give up before they make any growth. And
then exponential growth after that, isn't it?
Yeah. And when you see those people who just get to where they want to be, you only see when they hit the growth. You don't see them working their ass off.
Overnight success.
Yeah, it's the iceberg effect, you know? You see the tip of the iceberg, but you don't see all the work they've done underneath.
Yeah. Because that's the thing, isn't it? I think me and you know firsthand, it is hard work, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is hard work. I think that's why we're up at 5 o'clock every day to go to 5:30, because realistically, it's going to be even harder to do it in the evening. I remember when I was the shout out to Lauren, by the way, for creating 5:30 in Bondi.
Yeah.
She called me out and said, I've got a proposition for you, Ryan. So I went for a walk with her. I was like, I wonder what this is. She's like, okay, I'm starting at 5:30. Do you want to be the co-founder with me and come to 5:30 every day? I was like, you joking? I was like, is that a joke? Like, I don't get up. I get up at 7 o'clock, roll out of bed and go to work. But I'm trying to build a business. And I neglect it. And then I was like, look, I'm not going to commit to doing it 5 times a week, but I will support you. And then within a few days, it was my favourite time of the day.
Yeah, same. I love it.
Time of the day, because you walk out of there at 7 o'clock and think, I've pushed the needle today.
Yeah.
I've gone, and then like I said, it's all a case of incremental steps, isn't it? Turning up every day and doing small bits every day. You look at a flight of stairs, you're not just going to jump to the top. It's step by step, step by step. And you'd walk out of there at 7 o'clock in the morning, done an hour and a half, and I was content. And you've spoken with some awesome people, had some good conversations, you've had a coffee or a drink or whatever. Yeah, and the energy. Yeah. You absorb everyone's energy there. Because the thing about 5:30 Club is, and anything like that, is it filters out anyone who's not motivated enough to get up at 5 o'clock. Yeah. And look, there's definitely times in my life where I wasn't motivated to get up at 5 o'clock. So I'm no judgment. Yeah. But if you can push yourself through it, and by having that system, it makes it easy. Mm-hmm. I've tried to get up early for years, and this is the only time I've done it consistently. Yeah. Because there's people there who I know they're waiting on me to come, and I don't want to disappoint them. Half the time you get up for the people there as well. Exactly. And so it's infectious, isn't it? Yeah. The energy when you found your tribe, and there's no ifs or buts. Like your intuition tells you, these are my people. Yeah. And this is what I want to do, right, with this podcast, and with Scott and Joe, who I've had on the podcast. You know, we're creating like an online community of young people that we want to, because it's easy for us to say this, but it's like, all right, Ryan, all right, Byron, how do I actually do it? Yeah. Because I get that. I totally get that. I hate when people just tell you all this stuff and they give you no practical advice. Yeah. So, I mean, my advice is start looking, go on meetup.com, start finding Facebook groups, or even reach out to, just reach out to people. Yeah. Honestly. Lauren reached out to you and said, do you want to start 5:30 Club? Mm-hmm. What if she hadn't done that? Yeah. The club might have never started. Exactly that. And that's the thing with the people within the mindset, the space that we're in. And what I want, me particularly, the world is abundant. It's the abundance mentality, isn't it? It's like there is enough for everyone to have whatever they want in the world. And have you seen the Netflix movie The Platform? No. So it's exactly that, right? Is it? It's this horror thriller movie. It's
subtitled. It's basically this concept. Sorry to interrupt,
No, that's
but
all right. Yeah, come on. I'm
expand this
interested.
point. So basically, there's a lot of platforms, over 100.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to know until the end of the movie. But at the
Oh, cheers, mate.
yeah, no. But basically, people, they opt in to spend 30 days here as an experiment.
Okay.
Or as many days as they want, or
Yeah.
they serve time here.
Yeah.
And so there's 2 people on each platform, and you have to spend 30 days there. And at the top platform, in the middle of the platforms is a big circle, and there's a big plate of food, massive plate of food that goes down to each platform. By the time you get to about platform 50, there's no food left.
Yeah.
So 50 people have to go 30 days with no food.
Wow.
The point, the twist or whatever the commentary is,
Yeah.
there's actually enough food for everyone if
Yeah.
they spread it out. The
Yeah.
people in platform 1, they eat like pigs. 2, they eat like pigs. They don't share it. So by the time it gets to 50, there's 50 other people who miss out.
Wow.
And it's quite, and people, they kill each other. They become
Yeah.
cannibals. Like, it's a thriller,
Yeah, yeah.
but it's super interesting. And it's exactly that point. Like, there is enough abundance for everyone.
There's so much, and that's the thing. I think in everyone in our space, I want to do well for myself, but I want everyone else to do well because there's so much space for everyone to have what they want.
Positive sum game.
Yeah, but you can do. Like, that's what I want to install in people. Like, let alone your own personal self beliefs about yourself. Shatter your limiting beliefs. Shatter that scarce mentality. Like, oh, he's succeeding, he's taken away from me. No. You can do everything you want. You can have everything. So can I. So can your mate. So can your brother. So can everyone that you know can have everything they want in this life. And it's just how you see it and how you perceive it. And that's why, like I said, if you reach out to someone, 9 times out of 10, they're going to give you all the advice because you even boosting their ego a little bit, thinking, oh, this person likes what I'm doing. They've obviously in the same position where I'm at. Yeah, of course I'll give them the time.
If you reach out and say, hey, I think you're amazing. I want to be where you want to be. I'd love to learn from you. It's even, you're rubbing their ego, right?
Yeah, and that's what it's about. And these people want to see other people do well because they have the abundant mentality. Like, bring everyone else up. Everyone can have what they want.
Yeah.
Everyone can have what they want.
Which is what we need to be doing in society.
Exactly that.
And obviously, you've got to have some patience and work hard.
And that's it.
And it links back to the 6 out of 10 life. People, they don't achieve what they want because they're too comfortable.
Yeah.
Especially in countries like Australia.
Yeah.
Or England. You know, we've got it good.
Yeah.
We mentioned earlier when you went to Thailand, and I've been to some Asian countries as well where the poverty is unbelievable.
It's sad. It's really, really sad.
Oh, it's heartbreaking.
But it makes you grateful for what you've got, and the gratitude's obviously a big thing as well, isn't it? About thinking about what you do have rather than what you don't have.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is massive.
Anyways, Ryan, before we wrap up,
Yep.
my final question, which I ask every guest, this has been a great conversation.
Yep.
I had a lot of fun. It's basically, what would your number one piece of advice be for the younger generation? 16, 17, 18, coming out of high school.
Okay. I would say, I could say loads of things, really.
I'm scared of someone to ask me this question, to be
Yeah.
honest. There's too many things. Feel free to list off a few.
Yeah, what I'd say is that don't just do things because you're told. Figure out what it is you want that aligns with your values and your beliefs and what you want to achieve. Don't just do things because you think you should do them and because social norms tell you to do them. And also believe in yourself. I think from a place where I didn't have much self-belief, I didn't have any self-belief about what my opportunities were, both in my physical, mental, and opportunities and capabilities. I firmly believe that you can do anything you want in this world now.
Yeah.
Anything you want.
Yeah.
And again, you just need the clarity and the hard work and the drive to do it. So that would be it. I would figure out what you actually want based on your own personal values and beliefs and get to work.
And the self-belief is such a big one because I feel like so many people lack a belief in themselves, right? And I see amazing people with unbelievable talent. I see artists and designers who can do this stuff, you know, and they'll be like, oh, I saw a girl, actually we spoke together, if she's listening, shout out, she's studying law in England.
Yeah.
And you should see her art. It's amazing. And she wants to go full-time in art and stuff. And she's like, why are you doing law? I just felt like I had to, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you should be going full-time in this art. Look at it. It's amazing. And just a lot of people do not have that belief. And what is it like? What is Kerwin? I don't know if you've done his course, right? He does stuff where you've got to just say, I'm unstoppable. And you say, I am unstoppable, you know?
Well, he answers everyone as like, hey, Kerwin, how are you? Unstoppable, how are you?
Yeah.
That's his response because that's the power of self-suggestion, the power of self-talk. Whatever you tell yourself, you're going to become.
And do you know what? The most common answer in Australia to how are you?
Not bad.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad, not bad. What are you hearing?
Not bad.
Bad.
Yeah.
Bad. And that's a reference you're setting for yourself.
Yeah.
So stop saying not bad, you know?
I'm good, yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Unstoppable. The words are curving.
When you hear Gary Vaynerchuk, when people say, how are you? He goes, I'm amazing, mate. He goes, I am feeling amazing. Like,
yeah.
And most successful people do that because successful people believe they're going to be successful. It's not cockiness. No. It's not ego. It's self-belief.
Yeah, 100%. And that's a massive thing. And like, even like as a coach, if I meet someone that's going to be like, for dieting, say, if you don't believe you're going to be successful in dieting, you're not going to lose weight.
Yeah.
If you don't believe that you've got it to make a successful business, you're not going to do it. And that is complete clarity. You're thinking, you need to back yourself. And that's what I say to myself. I'll back myself. It might take a little while. It might take longer than what I first planned. But I'm going to be there. I'm going to do it, and I'll back myself to do it.
How are you going to achieve anything if you don't believe in yourself?
Exactly, mate. And that would be the key thing to take away.
Yeah.
I think just self-belief. Figure out what you want and believe in yourself and get to work.
Have you read Think and Grow Rich?
Love it, mate. Changed my life. Kerwin's whole course is on that.
Yeah. Think and Grow Rich, for anyone listening, I haven't finished reading. I'm reading it right now.
Oh, mate.
It's amazing. It was a book that took 25 years to write. This guy interviewed 500 of the most wealthiest people at the time.
1937 it was published.
Yeah. And I think they've briefly adapted it and stuff, but the core of the message is the same, right? But the story he shares about his son, who was born with no ears.
Yeah.
Right? And he just talks about how from birth he instilled in his son, you will listen, you will hear one day. And he started to be able to hear through bone conductivity. If he was close enough, he could hear some vibrations. And then a new piece of technology came out. And he was one of the only people this piece of technology worked and stuff. There's no science that can back this up, but he's just like, I strongly believe that by ingraining that in my son since birth, he's stronger, and this is why he can now hear today.
That book completely changed my life, and that's probably what's installed the self-belief that I have now.
Yeah, wow.
Because of that book, and like even the mastermind group, like the belief, the desire, the self-suggestion, the effective decision making, surrounding yourself by the right people, the mastermind group, trusting your intuition. That's a whole different topic. Trusting your intuition, which is massive.
I'm actually good friends with the guy who turned it into a movie, Think and Grow Rich. He produced a movie, and he also written 2 books on Think and Grow Rich, on the person who wrote it. What's his name? James Whitaker. Australian guy, he lives in LA. But if anyone's listening, it's a great book, Think and Grow Rich. I haven't even finished it, and I'm saying it's a great book. Yeah,
it's changed my life, that book. I think I've invested in one of my biggest coaches, Cohen Ray. His whole course, all the fundamental skills that he teaches is just an adaptation of that book.
What, $20 for the book? Come on.
It'd be the best $20 you will spend.
Come on, that's 2 drinks. Yeah. That's 2 pints.
Exactly that.
Come on.
Exactly that.
Anyways, thank you so much for coming on the show. And for anyone who wants to DM you, find out more if they're interested or know someone who might be keen to, work with you, where's the best place to go?
Yeah, so best place is Instagram. So my Instagram handle is ThatDietGeezer. Also follow our main page, which is ThatGeezer as well, which is a personal development platform and mental health awareness platform. And then my other 2 business partners, Stephen Granger, shout out That Mindful Geezer. Yeah. And Rob Brown for That Fitness Geezer as well. So we all operate collective as our own, but under the brand That Geezer. And we've got big things for the future down in online courses and a podcast of our own. But yeah, DM's always open. Yeah. And
DM him. If you've made it this far, DM Ryan, DM me. Like, I answer all my DMs. I'm sure you do too.
Absolutely.
It's a great feeling to receive, compliments or people say, hey man, enjoyed the episode.
That's what it's all about, mate. To build a community, you have to focus on the individual. One by one. One by one. So yeah, feel free to message me.
And all the links will be in the bio. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me, mate.
That's it for this episode of the Driven Young podcast. Thank you so much for listening to the entire episode. That means the world to me. And if you got some value out of it, please shoot me a message on Instagram or reach out to me. Or I would love for you to leave a rating or review on this podcast. So make sure you are subscribed, and I look forward to seeing you on the next episode.